Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Mask Off podcast. Today we have a special guest, Mr. Otieno, with your hosts Aditya Jain, Agrim Mittal, Raghav Maheshwari, and Devang Khetan. Thank you, Otieno, sir, for joining us today on this special episode of the Mask Off podcast. So, how are you feeling?
I'm kind of lost.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
entire
I've been very busy the whole day trying to run around, and well, I'm finding my bearings right now. But I think everything else is really good. Okay, everything is going well, very well.
Good to hear. So,
Yeah,
how has your day been? You're saying you're busy. You had meetings back to back.
yeah, not back to back exactly. I was meeting some students for extended essays, some people personal projects. There's a lot going on around, and then I had some international calls to take and all that. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's been.
I had this question, sir. Like you teach.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, before we start, if you could just give an introduction about yourself, who you are, just for viewers who don't know you.
All right. So as you said, my name is Otieno. So I come from Kenya. If you've heard about, it's a small country in East Africa.
Yep.
So basically, I'm a career teacher of music. I've been teaching for as long as I can remember. Yeah. So that's me in a nutshell. Yeah.
That's nice.
Great.
How? What exact area of music do you specialize in, sir?
Something about music is that music is a broad area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So when you go to college to study music, there are areas where you can focus on. Every student at university, college, of music is expected to specialize in a certain area. So you'll always go for either a performance major, a teaching major. You can do in performance major, you can actually do piano or whichever instrument of your choice, saxophone, anything, violins. Think about all the instruments.
Okay.
So, yeah. So my area of specialization, basically, I'm a woodwind player. I also play the keyboard.
Okay.
As basically, if you go to college in university for music, there are basic requirements that you have to be a pianist, for example.
Okay.
So I'm a pianist and I also play wind instruments, woodwinds.
That's nice. That's kind of nice. That's great.
That's nice, sir.
So
So
how's
what's
this?
your, like?
Yeah, you go on. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I was just going on to ask, how's your job right now on the virtual platform? So like, what's your major tasks? Like students are still attending music classes, or how are they practicing music? Because like you can't teach them in person, like what to do with the instruments or how to go with the notes. So
yes.
How do you conduct classes?
Okay, Agrim, thank you. That's a really good question. I'll tell you what, just like 7 months ago, I would never have thought that I'll be teaching my students on a virtual platform. Yeah. So just like any other subject area, music teachers had to adapt really quickly. We're trying to get the best tools because for some reason, music is a bit different. I don't want to say it's special, but it's quite different in such a way that music is about interaction between two groups, either individuals or groups, right?
Yes.
So, and a lot of music, it's about playing together, performing in bands and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And basically that's what drives our curriculum in terms of students perform, they play together. Now, what happens if we transfer this platform online? Then we find that there's a very big challenge in tools, the tools that we are using for teaching. Yeah, some of us, I could consider myself old school, but a little bit tech savvy with some things that I used to have.
Mm-hmm.
But now this has come to a level that I realize that I'm not able to teach my piano students or my wind students effectively because of challenges like network. For example, if I ask you to play a line, we cannot play together. So if we try to play together, there's lag, your music lags, my music lags, then the whole thing gets messed up. So there's a kind of a myriad of challenges that we are kind of overcoming step by step. Yeah, teaching music on Zoom I had to adapt really quickly so that you find that if I'm teaching my student is playing a guitar, then I would like him to produce a natural guitar sound. So I have to do research and do about how well to set up my Zoom audio settings, what is the best setting for a normal conversation like a podcast and a music lesson. There's a big difference.
Yeah.
Teaching, doing a podcast where you just need to speak as a voice, and teaching music in the class where you have to like perform and try and do that. So it's quite challenging, but we're kind of evolving and adapting.
Yeah, because
I guess what
I
you're
remember I
talking about is
used
this thing
okay.
that, yeah.
No, okay. So
I'm
I
saying
remember I
that,
used to play violin back in middle school. I learned for
Yeah.
like 3 to 4 years. So from personal experience, I know that learning music is a very one-to-one thing, because a lot of times the teacher would play along with you, or like whenever you make mistakes
Exactly.
in person, they can rectify you there and there. Like, looking at how you're playing your notes, or what notes you're playing. So I guess over Zoom or this virtual platform that we're on, it's very difficult, especially for music students.
Yes, and I'll tell you, sometimes it shows in their frustration. I'll give you an example. We had a session this week yesterday in the club, and I could tell that the boy was playing drums. He was quite frustrated because every time I tell him to count the beat, it goes off.
Yeah.
So I don't think he understood the fact. He thought that he can play his music on Zoom. Then I told him, oh, wait a minute. We have to redo the settings. We have to try to do this, but still, it never really worked. It's actually a one-to-one. The teacher plays along with you. You understand, as you say?
Yeah.
Now, we don't have that kind of luxury here. So we are kind of adapting every day and trying to get the best tools every time. Doing research is a constant thing for me every day. I'm trying to find, how does Berkeley School of Music, how do they run their orchestra? How does a Delhi School of Music do their things? So I'm trying to incorporate everything so that in the next couple of weeks, not weeks, right now, every week there should be an improvement in the way we deliver the music.
That's true. Devang, you had a question? You were asking something.
No, just saying that, like, I get that music is all about, synchronicity, and that's something that we haven't really achieved in India yet because of the Wi-Fi situation here. It's so bad. So
Pretty much, yeah.
So every time, like, you try to get something done, it lags or something. So I guess it's this for all subjects right now, but in music, it's like one of the main goals of the subject. So yeah, definitely it's a bigger problem.
So, sir, you said you're from Kenya, right?
Yes,
So
I'm from
what
Kenya.
all countries have you traveled to? Like India is one, like foreign countries.
Yeah, okay. I've traveled quite a bit. I'm talking about, I started my travels in the early 90s. So you can imagine I've been to many places. So I've worked out of, at least in Kenya, I've worked in Kenya, I've worked in Tanzania. I've gone to South Africa. I've been to Australia. I've seen a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
So experiences have been very interesting, and each place you go has its own unique kind of identities, dynamics. India is very interesting because I've been here now. This is my 7th year. So it's very interesting.
That's
7
years is very long.
I've worked here for 7 years, not in Pathways, but also in other schools.
But yeah, like I knew from other people that you've been very well traveled and that you have traveled to a lot of countries. So like one thing I wanted to ask was, how have these different countries, like different experiences specifically, like helped you along the journey? Like, meeting new people every time, and, having to, introduce yourself to different people, knowing the type of people they are, letting them know what type of person you are. And then, this entire building up of connections along the way. How has that been, like, over this long
Adapting
variety
to
of
the
countries?
culture. Yeah,
It's very interesting. Okay, before I answer my question, can I ask a question?
Sure, sir.
Sure.
Go on.
So anyway, this is for anybody. Have you ever been to any place that is like your first time ever to be? Like you're expecting something, actually you don't really know what to expect. So, anyone?
I mean, yeah, definitely.
Have you been to a new place where probably you're anxious about what will happen when I get there? What will, anyone?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yes,
Aditya, example, where was this?
I mean, a lot of places. So I've traveled to a lot of different countries, but let's say
No, I'm
any
just talking
different.
about one place that you like you had to be like, oh, on the, what will happen when I get there?
I would say
Yeah.
not a place, but I've changed quite a lot of schools. So when I was coming to Pathways Noida over here in 11th grade, I was like, shit, will I be able to make friends? Or like, how will I, fit in basically? So I wouldn't say place, but changing schools. That would.
Yeah, by the way, that is the same. It's more. I think the feeling is more or less the same. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyone
Because
else?
what I was thinking was like the most of the places I've traveled to have been tourism, like mostly tourism. But like you're
Yeah.
saying that you've traveled mostly because of work and a lot of your business and your career for your career.
No. I've also traveled for tourism. So yeah, actually, most of the places I've traveled it's mostly tourism, but a few places also I've gone to work. Yes.
Yeah, so let's say for India, so obviously you're working here, you settle down here. So like in that context, I guess it's very different for tourism and
Yeah.
work travel type of thing, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Let me try to answer your question. There's always, I'll tell you, everyone has their own kind of what do you call it, comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
What makes you comfortable? You understand? So just like any other child, we're all humans, like any other person who is going to encounter a new thing or change. Change is a bit scary in any way. Like Agrim is saying, when you came to Pathway, you said, oh my goodness, what kind of school is that? Are these people good? I mean, how will I manage? It's the same situation. Example is the first time I came to work in India. I think that was 2012. So I knew that, wait a minute, for the first time, I'm going to stay away for a prolonged period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had been to India before as a tourist or on some courses, but I have never come to live in India. So there's all these things that come to your mind. Wait a minute, somebody's telling me, oh, be careful about, when you go to Delhi, there's this thing, but these are rumors, most of them, you understand?
Yeah.
Some of them are baseless, completely baseless.
Can you tell us some of these rumors?
Yeah.
Yeah, what are the craziest rumors you've heard?
Okay, I'll tell you. They'll say that, Mr. Chen, if you go to Delhi, you'll never be able to eat meat. Yeah, you'll not get this, you'll not get that. Mr. Chen, do you know that okay, I don't want to get into all these little things, but the point is, at the end of the day, when the plane is landing, I'm saying, wait a minute, who will be my neighbor? Yeah.
Yeah.
How will I interact with them? Who will be this? Who will be that? How will I know? Where will I get my? Okay, so there's all these little things, just like any other person, that there's always the anxiety about settling in. It's a new, in a new place, and then as you settle in, then you realize that, oh, wait a minute. Well, India is different, but it's still a place where human beings live. They have their own challenges.
Yeah.
The same problems you guys have here, we have the same problems at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there is issues of the government is not providing this, or maybe the roads are not good, or maybe there's a bad whatever power grid issues. I remember when I lived in Gurgaon the first time, I was always on inverter power most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was so there was this thing about, wait, how do you people do it? How is it done here? Yeah. Guys don't have enough power. So there's many dynamics that goes on, but in the long run, after a couple of months, you start finding places, finding your own way around, meeting people, interacting, and realizing that even though people are different, people are just people.
People are people.
Yeah.
So you said that
students, I'll give you an example. Students, you guys, I might as well just translocate you back to my former school in Kenya. Yeah. It's called the Aga Khan Academy. Yeah. It's half of it is, okay, let me see, 40 to 50% of it is made up of Indian immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
You get my point? So you guys are behaving exactly like my 12th grade students back at home.
Yeah.
You might just, so there's no different, there's probably someone who behaves like Agrim in my class back in Kenya. So not because, and this is India, so the dynamics about what goes on everywhere, it's the same, it's just more, it's about the human condition that you do in TOK. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, sir. I have a question for you, sir. Like, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I have a question for you, sir. Like, it's a pretty interesting one. To what extent can you understand Hindi, sir? Like, as a language?
Okay, that's a good question. The best part of Hindi that I don't really speak much Hindi. I pick up a few things, but I've been working a lot with numbers. Yeah, these little
Oh,
things. Like I know how to go and order like and tell how much my change is going to be. If I go to the supermarket, they'll tell me, okay, I'll tell them how much is this. Then they'll say it in Hindi.
Yeah.
They'll tell me like so. Then I'll say, okay. Then I'll give them 300. I'll tell you some of it I don't know. Okay, but for some reason I'm able to pick a few things like I can infer the meaning from what someone is saying.
mm.
You understand?
Yeah.
But
Yes,
if you talk to me a little bit of Hindi, maybe you'll know my situation. I know how to say namaste, namaste. Yeah, I know about those, the friend. You know.
yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very small things. Yeah.
Mm.
But
And
the
sir,
thing, the thing also has been, the reason is because I spend only a couple of months in India, and also I have many things, and I'm not very good with languages. So sorry. Yeah.
no problem, sir. Listen, like, so have you ever got cheated? Like you said, like 300, so you gave 300. Sometimes the person said 80, and he's taking like 300, 400 rupees from you. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever got cheated? You have?
Yeah, but yeah, I would like to tell you what this is absolutely normal. If you go downtown in Nairobi, Kenya,
Yeah.
Yes.
if they realize you don't know how to speak Kiswahili, well, they'll tell you it's 1,000, but it's actually 10 rupees.
Yeah.
You understand?
I've heard they
Yeah, I'll give you an
overcharge
example.
around the world. They
Exactly.
they tend to.
A very good example. My first week in the school I worked in 2012,
Mm-hmm.
I had a buddy. You know, like when you go to a new school, you're given a buddy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I had my buddy, and we were going around. He would take me to a restaurant for lunch, and we just like really good interactions. He became a very good friend to date, and he's a great musician, a very good tabla player. Yeah,
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Singh. So I remember one day, the first week in school, when I wanted to go to a shopping mall, like let's say like 2 kilometers away.
Yes, sir.
So I left the school, and they just went. It was my first auto rickshaw ride.
Yes.
So I went to the auto. So I told him, please drop me at the Parkendra market. He said, yes, sir. So I said, I didn't know. So he dropped me. So I gave him 500 rupees. So I expected him to give me change. So he told me, how much? Punch rupee, 500, so punch, something like that. I said, yeah. Then I said, okay, 500, that's too much, but it's okay. So I walked away.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh.
2
So I
kilometers,
paid
500.
I paid 500 for a place I should have paid 50.
Yeah, it was probably 50.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So when I came back to school, I told my friend. He told me, do you know that guy? Because you know, like where every taxis, most
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
they park in the same area. So these ones were parking near the school. He told me, they charged you how much? 500 for 50. I said, yeah. Oh yeah. He said, I didn't know that's a lot. He said, no, that's too much. Let's go back there, and I'm going to teach him a lesson. I told him, no, don't do it. I said, it's okay. Now I've learned my lesson. Next time I'll pay 50. That's it.
But like
Has there
similarly,
any?
sir, like these
Yeah, many
experiences.
things like this happen everywhere in the world. Don't take it like it's only Delhi. It happens here. It happened to me last year. I know.
Yeah.
Many
But
places.
like,
If you go
have
to
you ever
Nairobi,
faced like these are obviously very small issues, like obviously like getting cheated on a number, like how much you pay for a taxi and stuff. But like,
yeah,
have you ever faced like actual real problems as a foreigner in different countries, not just India, but like you're saying you travel to so many countries.
yes. Okay, so no, I will say definitely I have. I've never got into trouble. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a life philosophy. Okay, my life philosophy is always live and let live and respect others,
Mm-hmm.
and never do anything illegal.
Yeah.
You understand? So a lot of times it doesn't matter. The minute you get into illegal stuff, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Okay. So you always have to you have to keep the bargain. I'm an expatriate teacher. I came only here for one purpose, to work, teach my students.
Mm-hmm.
I always keep that part, and I keep it really well. So I've never really gotten like in trouble with the law or anything like that. If that was, have I answered your question? Or?
No, but like in just terms, not specifically the law, but in terms of like the people you meet or the,
or like
at
conflict? You mean like
workplaces or the
conflict?
new friends you try to make. Has
Yeah,
there
you mean
been
like
it's a
you mean
it's a
conflict?
very sensitive topic to
Yes,
tread
sir.
on.
Like, in terms of conflicts, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about, you mean like, have I have any conflict with any of my acquaintances in India or any other part?
Have you faced any problem because of like you're a foreigner, you're from Kenya? So like because
okay, you're talking about problems like settling in?
Yeah, settling in.
sir.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah, okay.
And
I
fitting
thought
in
you
the
meant,
culture.
yeah,
Fitting in the
culture, of
culture,
course.
basically.
Yes. No, this it's about adjusting, guys. Everywhere is different. India is very different. I remember I had really some difficulties with food. Yeah. When I came in the first month or two, before I knew where to buy what, I had to eat a lot of curries and stuff like that that were not really good. Okay, it's not the kind of food we eat back home. At home, we don't eat very spicy food. So that's one of my challenges, food. And maybe also there's some aspects of India that there's a conservative part of India, or some conservative part of any culture where people are more, what do you call it? People are more reserved.
Yeah.
They're more reserved. They're not outgoing. They're always like suspicious. They wonder, what are you doing here? That happens back home. If you go to a place where you probably you cannot speak with other people, you cannot communicate, people will always make assumptions.
Yeah.
So unless you interact with people, then they know who you are. I've always had good relations with my neighbors, even here, right where I'm living. Yeah, everywhere I've stayed in India, I've always had at least some really good relations. But what I've learned is always give someone space. Yeah. If you try to get into people's spaces, then it might easily result in conflict and you can get into a lot of problems.
So what is your take on Indian food, basically? How
Sorry?
do you like Indian food, sir?
Okay, I'll tell you what I like. The Indian food I like chapatis.
Oh,
yeah.
Chapati?
I like
rotis,
chapatis. Okay, I'll tell you what. I like chapati. I like rajma. I like kulchas. I like
yeah.
I like kulcha.
Sir?
I like, yes.
Chole bhature.
They are bhature. Yeah,
Yeah, and golgappe as well, I guess.
Sorry.
Golgappe, pani puri, or whatever you call it.
I'll tell you. I was just going to tell you about pani puri because I make it in my house. Believe it or not.
Whoa.
Really, sir?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite delicacies.
That's kind of
Look, I've been, first of all, when I came in India, people tell me, no, don't take it from the street. It's not good. You're going to get sick. Yeah. But then everyone is taking it. So I said, okay, I'll try. So it's really a nice pani puri. I have some of it to just do. I can't do the curry. So I buy the ready-made powder. Yeah. And then I make the pani and the chutney, whatever. And then you just do it. It's one of the things that I've picked up.
Sir, have you ever gone to Chandni Chowk, basically, Old Delhi, to try authentic Indian food?
I was in Chandni Chowk like 6 years ago, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't remember really what happened, but I didn't buy much. Yeah. I got lost. My auto driver made me get lost, and then I find my way back home, and I never bought anything.
So did you reach home then?
Yeah, I reached home. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I reached home. Yeah, I remember I went once. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on, sir. Sorry for cutting you.
I just went once. I was hoping just to explore it, but I was not able to get there properly. Yeah, it's a big place, apparently.
So I want to say, let's just cut the small talk. And our main agenda of the podcast was to discuss the current social issue going on around people's color.
Okay.
So that was a main. So
yeah, but we don't want to tread very heavily on that. It's a very sensitive topic. But have you ever faced, you can Agrim, you go on. But that's the main thing. You can choose not to answer it if you don't want to, which is really
sure.
So people considering you inferior, or maybe
I didn't get your question. Agrim, please ask again.
Yeah, so I was saying, like, have you like been ill-treated or considered inferior within a country, not specifically India, but all the places you've traveled to?
Yeah. So the thing about being African, okay, is about where you go. A lot of people have these notions. You understand?
Yeah.
People have notions about, okay, Africans are like this, Indians are like this,
Mm-hmm.
people from the UK are like this. So now, as you can see, like the world right now, the world is how can I put it? There is suddenly this
It's in a bad
movement
place. It's in a
about
bad place.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a movement about
Black Lives
who
Matter.
is a black person? How should a black person be treated now?
Yeah.
Example is in America. You've seen all this news on all the news in America about US, the
George
civil rights
Floyd,
movement, how the black
Margot
people are
Robbie,
treated
yes.
there. You understand? They're citizens. So I think for me personally, what I'll say is, of course, I always look, I try to trade very carefully. So have I ever been, has someone ever told me openly to be racist? You can get those. I have got those things in India. I've had them many times. But what happens is Indians are more like insinuate about it. Do you understand? Indians
Yeah.
will not be openly racist. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So they'll have these things. You can have like these notions about. Some of them will ask you a really dumb question. Yeah. That probably out of ignorance, they don't know, maybe it's not the right of question you can ask. It's the same, like if you go down to the UK, you'll notice that there's a huge Indian population in Kenya, all over the world, in America.
Mm-hmm.
And the racial differences is as old as the world itself. I don't know what to say, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, if you look at the kind of progress that's going on around the world, especially the last maybe 20 to 30 years, yeah, there is a lot of movement towards more appreciation of human beings for who they are rather than what they look like.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Does that make
There's definitely been a very good
So,
progress through these years.
yes, there's
But
been
if
progress over
you're
the years.
comfortable with sharing any personal stories or experiences that you stuck out to you, only if you're comfortable, but like
Sorry, my personal story.
any personal
Yeah.
story, yeah, any personal experience or something that you
Um,
noticed.
okay, I stayed. I remember in 1995. Yeah, I went to Durban. So I took leave for about 6 months.
Okay.
So I went to Durban in South Africa. Now, South Africa is one of the places that you've heard about apartheid?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
apartheid was like systemic racism done and put in the constitution. Like it was very clearly said where Indians can go in,
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
Africans can go in, and where the white people can go in. So here it was a complete system. So my experience there was that when I went to Durban, I remember that I was staying with a former colleague, a friend who were in college together. So he left Kenya in after we finished college in '93. So when I went there in '95, so I expected his life to be of a better quality. Yeah. So when I reached there, he was living in very a very well-educated person. Actually, he went over and studied at one of the best universities in South Africa, with Watersrand Universities. It's called WITS. So he transferred from Kenya, went there, studied, got his master's. But for some reason, he was never ever able to find a job.
Mm.
I'm talking about like over 1-2 years after. So, you know what my friend was doing?
Yes, sir. Tell
My
us.
friend was selling charcoal. You know charcoal?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he was selling charcoal on the street. And when I went there, I could not accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I told him to come back to Kenya with me. So we went back to Kenya. We stayed at my place. So after some time, he was not able to get a job in Kenya, but he could work part-time. Yeah. And what I remember is after 1997, after the systems were starting to now change very well in South Africa, yeah, when he applied for a job, he used to come in to visit me. So when he applied for a job, he was accepted as an undersecretary in the government, based on his qualification and all that. But what I will tell you is, in terms of a story that I can tell, that was one of the most humiliating. Like, it's unbelievable that you, a person, you have got your best, you made your best out of your education, you worked hard through thick, through thin, and then when you reach a point whereby you present your papers, they would prefer to take people from either, actually South Africa was such that the white people were up there, followed by so it was this kind of hierarchy, and it was like, well, a minute, we could not get a job. That guy is a senior person in the government today, but he can tell his story. Yeah, I can tell his story. Personally, I've never gone through this because I live in a country, we are homogeneous, we're one country. So, yeah, so issues of racism don't arise. But the point is, what I know over the last 20 to 30 years, the systems are changing. People are moving, the world is becoming a small place to a point that a pandemic can lock everyone around the world in the house right now. If this pandemic happened 30 years ago, probably it would not be as bad, because people traveling out of the world, the interaction between countries and traveling was not so much advanced as it is today.
Right.
So that's a story I can tell about. Yeah, I've seen racism. Yeah, personally, I've had people calling me names. Fine. So what? Yeah, but it is a system that is changing and things are working. As you can see how much America has taken it at the moment. It's one thing that will not be solved in a generation, maybe not in 2 generations. Yeah. And of course, in India, I always challenge you guys, you also have a black population in India. Think about how it works there. Yeah. So
it's a really positive attitude, sir. That
Yes,
you
sir.
don't let it affect you. That's a really nice
Really
thing.
appreciate that.
Yes, sir. And so, moreover, like, I would like to ask this question, sir, again, moving on out of this topic. I would like to ask you, sir, so have you, like, going to different countries, you know how people usually tend to act, they kind of try to use inappropriate words in their own native languages. So has there any incident been like they have used some inappropriate languages in front of you,
yeah,
and you've understood those words, and then you're like, oh yes,
yeah,
and I know what it is.
But
yeah.
then did you react
Yes.
to it, or did you just let it slip by?
Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. When I was your age, okay, Raghav, when I was your age, then that would probably would elicit. If you call me that, I would kick your ass. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
But you know, life is so interesting. The older you become, the clearer you see some of the things. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm very sure in your own life, in your own 17, 18 years, you've been called lots of names, right?
Yes, of course. Everyone, sir.
Everyone. And
Yes,
a lot of it is, it always happens out of ignorance, a lot of stereotypes, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there are a lot of stereotypes about Indians. There are a lot of stereotypes about, and people will always try to throw these epithets and try to make you see, okay, well, let's see. Let's call Raghav this, and let's see how he's going to react.
Yes, sir. People tend to do that, sir.
That has happened many times, but you only react. You have to be smart. You have to be street smart. You have to have emotional intelligence. You have to be smart in all kind of things, you know. You cannot, So that's how you live.
How would you react to it today? Like you'd say
like
at 17, if someone said that to you, you kick his ass. What about today? What has
like
changed
if someone
from then to
abuses you
now?
in Hindi, like if someone abuses you in Hindi, how would you react?
Oh, by the way, I've had so many. Okay, I always attribute this. It's something about society, okay?
Yes,
now look at it this way. I go to a supermarket right here in Noida, and then I've got into the cashier, and then behind me, someone comes with 2 items, like 2 pieces of stuff.
Yes, sir.
Then he'll tell me, sir, do you mind? I said, sure. I have like 2 cartfuls of grocery, right?
Yes, sir.
So I remember once this person came. So I was just, the cashier actually started to do that. So he comes and just skips the line. He doesn't walk there. So I asked him, hey, come on, there's a line here. There's actually there were many people behind me. So
Yes, sir.
he looked at me and he spoke a racist term in Hindi for black people. You understand?
Okay.
What, sir? Okay, yeah.
So I can't remember what it is, but so
I get it, sir.
no, I heard it. I smiled and just went on with my business.
That's a great approach, sir.
So,
That's a great approach.
yeah, because I'll tell you what, the security person in the supermarket asked him to leave.
Oh, wow.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
So
That's
that's what I'm saying. Some of these things are there, but you know, human beings are human beings. Yeah, yeah. You guys are young, so how I react to it now, I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
Probably my kids will not react the same way like I will do. Yeah. So when I was 17, if you do that, you're in big trouble. You better run off. But now I do laugh off a lot of things, but I always make sure that everyone knows what the right thing to do is. You understand? You guys are smart enough, you know the right thing to do.
Yes.
So some of the time, if you call somebody a racist term, so always remember this. You're going to find yourself in the same shoe. Yeah. So you know when you put on a shoe and it's very tight and pinches you, you only know which part of the shoe is pinching you, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Because personally, you know that it's either the toe or on the backside. So this is what happens. Before you say something to hurt someone, whether it's racist, whether it's just an abuse or whatever, think about it. You're young guys. I know you have a lot of energy and you want to be cool, you know, this and that. Yeah. And don't forget, by the way, where you come from in every society, there is racism. You understand?
Definitely. Yes, sir.
Even among Indians, even among Africans, some of them, some communities think they are more superior than the others, but they look exactly the same. So it's a social problem. But as I said, I don't fight about it. I don't get into confrontations about it because it's some of those things that logic cannot resolve. You guys do TOK, right?
Yeah.
It's about emotion. It's how do you know? It's about emotion. Have you ever tried to do a religious argument with somebody, let's say a Hindu versus a Muslim?
No, sir.
Will they ever come to an agreement?
No.
Or a Christian and a Muslim, or a Christian and a Buddhist? It never works because
I know.
yeah, how knowledge is processed in these places is very different. How people know, you know. So you have to use your wisdom, be street smart, see how to interact with people. Yeah.
That is a very good, that's amazing wisdom, sir, I'd say, because not letting it affect you and then, you know, still knowing what the right thing is personally, I think that's very touching.
Yeah, it's I'll tell you, it's hard. I'm not saying that it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
You understand?
Obviously. But like not reacting,
it
sir, that is
hurt.
so, I'd say that's very powerful because like when
pure.
you know that you are in the right place, but still you choose not to say anything. I mean, that's amazing, sir. I'd clap for you there. That is amazing.
Yes, sir. I think.
Sorry, I think my internet cut out. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but okay, I'll tell you what. Okay, here comes the question. Just based on that, how do you, if someone really hurts you bad, what is the instinct? The instinct is to strike back, right?
Yeah.
The instinct is normally to hit back, right?
Yeah.
So what usually happens when you do the opposite, it has a more impact on the person, especially if you react with negativity, with positivity. Yeah. So normally it has a more impact on the other person. Yeah. So I think that should work. Okay.
But yeah, like the things are like, even though it affects you, you're not showing that affects you, you're not reacting to it, which I think is amazing, sir. Like I think that's very powerful thing to do. That's a very strong thing to do. Like,
yeah,
hats
okay,
off
I'll
to
tell you
sir.
what.
Hats off.
Yeah, yesterday I watched I watched about this guy. I think you've seen the latest shooting in the US, right?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
If you look at it, there's this guy who was just minding his business, doing a barbecue, the black guy. So I think there was some commotion. He tried to solve some problems, and the cops were called. When they came, they didn't know who is who, so he tried to move to his car. His kids were waiting in the car, and then they shot him. It was, have you seen the video?
Yes, sir, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay. Here's the question. Have you seen the reaction? Have you seen the reaction from his family?
No, I haven't, sir. I haven't.
You haven't? Okay.
No, I'm not sure.
Now, there is always either you're going to, what can you do? You're going to react either gracefully or you can react in a different way. So you can choose on how to react. One thing, it's heartbreaking to see things like this that are going on, isn't it? So, as I said, for me, I grew up in a place where we are very communal, we help each other, right? And we know in every society there's someone who either fits or doesn't fit for whatever reasons, yeah? So the thing is, people are not thrown out. People are normally taken in. People normally get help. Now, in a place where there's isolation, like in a racist situation in the US, where the community that is there cannot find a way out of the same problems that they face for generations, yeah, to a point that now you can see like whatever effects, the ripple effect from the US is being heard right across the world. The demonstrations were held in London, they were held in Canberra, I mean, all over the world. Why do you think the majority of the protesters these days are white people? Anyone?
Social media likes. That's my best.
No, I'm saying, why 20 years ago, why are most anti-racist protesters these days white? They join black people.
So is it the guilt factor, maybe?
No, it's because the world is changing. Yeah, the world is changing. People are starting to see things as they're supposed to be seen.
Yes.
So if you choose to see things with blinkers, you know what blinkers are, yeah?
Yeah.
I call them blinkers. Like if you put on a lens over your face and decide you want to see people the way you want to see them, it's up to you. But the point is, young people across the world, they're realizing if they came from a generation of racists, they should not be racist.
Yes.
And they should not be associated with it, which means that they have to carve their own path and say, look here, I am John. My dad used to be a slave. My grandfather was a slave owner, right? But now it's me. I didn't do it. It's him who did it. Yes. I'm a human being. I can live in a modern society where everyone is treated equally. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult, but disparities are there. But at the same time, it's how you navigate as a human being. Yeah. So the issue of racism, I don't like talking too much about it because number one, it's a painful thing. Number two, yeah, it's very controversial, and a lot of places, including India, they have a way of looking at it.
Yes.
Understand? In India, it's completely different.
But it's nice, sir, that you came here and you're open about it today. Because I think
I'm always open about this. Yes. I don't hide about this. These
things
true.
Really need to be said. And thank you so much, sir, for telling us all this. I guess
no
we'll
problem.
end it on that amazing note. So,
thank you so much,
sir. I'll just say thank you so much for being here with us and giving us this really good insight into how it's been for you around the world and how, this wisdom that you've managed to, show through this, and, how you've managed to fight through it all, and you're standing here today as a happy man. It's really touching, sir. Thank you so much for this amazing message.
Yeah, and guys, thank you for this conversation. And guys, I think this is a really good casting, okay? It's a good cast project online. And I think it's very worthwhile. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
And well done, guys, for doing this. Okay?
Thank you so much, sir. So just to end, I'd say if any one of you watching is racist or have ever indulged in any such thing, Otieno sir will not say anything, but I swear I will kick your ass because I am 17.
Yeah.
And if you're not saying, but you're the one receiving it, I would like to quote Trevor Noah over here. You know Trevor Noah?
Yeah, I know Trevor Noah. Yeah.
So what
Yeah.
Trevor Noah says is her mom taught him a lesson that if someone passes a racist comment, mix it out with the love of Jesus and give them back.
Yeah. Yeah. If you watch Trevor Noah, it's the late night show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you watch that, I watched a lot of Trevor Noah, so I know. So, anyways, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you
so much,
so
sir.
much, Otieno, sir, for being
Thank you
here
so
with
much,
us.
sir.
Thank you to everyone watching this podcast. We'll sign off
you.
this time. This was it for this episode of the Mask Off podcast, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Bye,
sir.
sir.